Hello and welcome to our second Year 10 Monologue Showcase. This time, pupils will be performing a variety of different extracts from a wide range of different scripts. This time, the focus has been creating a naturalistic performance. So in their lesson times, pupils have focused on improving their individual skill using theatre practitioner Stanislavski's techniques to really dig deep and find raw emotion and connect to their script. So you'll see the performances here tonight are very different to their inanimate object monologue showcase. I hope you enjoy these performances.
Why isn't Dad waking up? But no one would answer. That night, Will didn't have a clue what was happening. I signed to him, Dad is hurt. But it was impossible to explain. Because, well, Mum wasn't telling me everything. I mean, she kept saying Dad came off his motorbike. What she failed to mention was that he was in a coma. There might be brain damage, and machines were the only thing keeping him alive. Mum went to the hospital like every day, while I stayed home and cared for Will. But I was 8, and overnight I became the parent. I always knew my brother was profoundly deaf, and I always knew he had learning difficulties. But what I wasn't prepared for was the level of care he would need. Just in terms of being told, you need to brush your teeth, you need to have a shower, you need to hang up your uniform. And Will was 12 at the time. But his toileting and his communication wasn't what it should have been. And one day Mum came home. She took me to the kitchen, sat me down and said, "It's time, Jade. The doctors are turning off Dad's machines. You need to come and say goodbye."
One Sunday, I decided to have a duvet day. It was the end of my first week of year 7, so I got in my pyjamas and sat downstairs playing video games. As a family, we'd found our feet. Mum would still have outbursts, but we coped. Dad had completely turned his life around. Every morning before I went to school, he'd make me a brew and we'd have a cuddle by ourselves and just chat. He'd be there every day to pick me up from school and he became so house proud. He'd clean every room top to bottom. It was spotless. He was a completely different dad to before. Anyway, I was having this duvet day, absolutely bossing Final Fantasy V, when I heard this massive crash, followed by, like, silence. I went into the hall to see what was going on, and Dad was lying there, collapsed at the bottom of the stairs.
I was fetching some water from the pump to brew some tea. One of the Italian chaps was sat on the steps. He asked me what I was doing. Then he started to cry. He said, "I miss my family. I miss Mama, Papa and Bambinos." I said, "Oh dear, don't cry. The war will be over soon and then you can go home and be with your Mama and Bambinos." "I'm sorry, I've really got to go get the water. They'll be wondering where I am." And then when I turned back around, he disappeared. Then I came back through the archway. He jumped out at me, grabbed me round the waist and pushed me up against the wall. I was holding this big pan of water and I said, "Get off! Leave me alone, get off!" He kept pushing me hard up against the archway, against the brickwork of the archway. "You're hurting my back. Get off! Leave me alone!" He didn't. So I don't know where I got my strength. I lifted the big pan of water and I threw it over him. He was soaked. He swore at me.
Okay now, listen to me. I hate you and hate this. Haven't listened to you for like a year now. No one I know likes you anymore. I just played along because my idiot father set this up for that doofus meddling charity, and I don't want him to feel that effort was wasted. I don't want to meet pop stars, real or manufactured. I don't want to skydive or swim with dolphins, which, by the way, is very distressing for the dolphins. I just want to get better, which, given you're here, I assume officially is not going to happen. And to have you turn up with your shiny eyes and your perfect little life. Everything has gone so very right for you. Every day scripted moment by moment for your pleasure and convenience. And we're all just meant to live vicariously through the wild, wild things you get to do that we never will. Red carpet, backstage parties, Ferraris, jacuzzis. And nothing makes me feel more bitter because in the end, it's the opposite of me. I won't get to do any of that stuff because I'll be dead soon. And even in the time I've had, I couldn't do most of the stuff you've done because one, I'm not famous, and two, I've spent most of my life with tubes up my nose and down my throat. I haven't even had a chance to try me anything.
No, our husbands died 800 feet in the air, not down in some shopping mall in the ground. You want to visit where our husbands died? You got her in a helicopter. That hole in the ground bears as much resemblance to my husband as this bowl of lukewarm soup. And at least this can be reheated. I'm tired, Alice. I'm just tired. I can't keep living my life as if it's the direct result of my husband's death. He's died. He's dead. It doesn't make a difference. How could it have easily just been a car crash or cancer? The result is just the same. Only with those, you don't have presidential candidates showing up every 4 years on the anniversary of their death. It's the same thing, over and over and over. It doesn't mean anything anymore. No, I know it means something. It's just, what it doesn't mean anymore is Peter. For me, at least. So I think I'm just going to surrender to them. Let the politicians run speeches in front of it. Let CNN and Fox News sell ads or running stories about it. I'm just going to leave it to them and go market some other way, because whatever I do, I just can't do this anymore.
It was weird to think that I only learnt to walk like 3 years ago, and there I was teaching Mum. Slowly, but surely, she got better until she finally learnt to walk again. And she was ready to go to the Trafford Centre. Mum was walking, doing proper well. It was so stupid. A piece of carpet had been folded up on the floor. It caught her feet. She tripped and fell. I tried picking her up, but I was only 4. I was too little, and she was too heavy. This massive crowd gathered around us, and a security guard came over and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, I'm not okay." Mum couldn't move. Her eyes were like full of pain, and all I could do was watch.
Well, I was so embarrassed. I thought, what a rude man. Pop had taken me to go and see the pantomime in Newcastle, and everyone had laughed when Jack and the Beanstalk had tried to milk the cow by pumping its tail up and down. I thought sitting there that it wasn't funny at all, but it was a jolly good idea. However, I didn't take in what he'd shown us. Had he taken the 2 cows' front things first? Perhaps he'd taken the 2 cows' back things. Would the cow object if I took them in the wrong order? Perhaps he'd taken one thing from the front and one thing from the back. Or was it rather like bell ringing? If he didn't get it right the first time, the whole thing fell apart. The cow was still munching away at his food, so I decided to get down, put the bucket between my knees, and started milking. I did this for about 2 hours. All I got was 2 drops, not even enough to make a cup of tea.
You step into the sunlight and take a deep breath, and there's your mum, waiting. She looks at you, you look at her. How is she ever going to trust you again? But she starts to come over. Mum, look, I'm so sorry. And she just bursts out in greeting. Then she goes, what are we going to do with you? Imagine if all that happened to you. What would you do? Do you want to know what I would do? I would talk. I would tell my story. Because when I got angry, I almost lost everything. And all I really wanted was someone to sit up and take notice.
I had visions of you and me on the sofa. You sat crumpled, with me, one arm on your shoulder, a box of tissues in the other. Being able to say with you, yes, boys are idiots. And I tell you all the times I got my heart broken. I pictured battles, open warfare, doors slamming, pictures rattling on the walls, tearfully making up, so we end up stronger than ever. I pictured the speech you'd give at your 18th birthday, shortly before I'd slip away to a hotel, so you can wreck the house, where you acknowledge what a nightmare you'd been, and pay tribute to me for being the voice of reason, an experience which guided you through the storms of adolescence.
When history, when it comes, Mrs. droning on, highlighting keywords on the board. And every time she lifts her arm to write, oh, you can see a bit of a bingo wing through the opening of her sleeve. Like someone should really tell her it should be illegal for a 50-year-old to be wearing short sleeves. Maybe I'll write her a note. Anonymously, of course, but as courtesy-like. I'm texting a boy. There are no boys in history. Secondary school is mixed. But otherwise, it's just the girls. But other girls too. 3 school feeds into St. Margaret's. And it's honestly so nice. It's so nice to have all my primary school friends here with me. The St. Helens girls. Or the Saint and Hell girls, as some call us, as a joke, you know? It's nice to have girls that really know me, that remember in year 3 when I won the singing competition of my rendition of Since You've Been Gone. In year 5, when the bus broke down and we had a slumber party on the bus. Girls who remember when I ran the swing relay. Girls who remember the music teacher's meltdown. Girls who remember the time I laughed so hard. I peed a bit.
I was in the forces before Jade and Will were born, but I left because I wanted to see my kids grow. We lived in Blackpool for a time, but didn't really work out, so we moved to Salford for a better life. No, that's not a sentence you hear very often. The Sunday before the accident, I'd asked Jade's mum to marry me. Dead happy I was. We had a party to celebrate the 4 of us. Come Monday morning, I left for work on my bike, and the next thing I remember is waking up in a hospital bed thinking, who's this? For 8 months of my life, it was bed, bath, physio, repeat. One morning, the doctor put a piece of bacon in front of me. I tried, but I couldn't even cut it up. I remember thinking, how can I be a dad to my kids when I can't even feed myself?
Take 3. Hello, welcome to your brain scan. It's just a few questions. Lamps on for yes, lamps off for no. Ready? I am a teenager. I live with both my parents. I eat way too much fried chicken. I think I'm clever.
I think I'm good looking. I lied to my parents today. I'm in love. I steal things from shops. I hate puberty. Just a few more. I can't sleep when my mum's not home. I cried today. I am out of control. I wish I didn't look like my dad. I wish my skin was a different colour. I'm worried no one will ever fall in love with me. I want to be a chef, a politician, a lawyer, an actor, and a parent. Lamps off.
I usually can't say things out loud. I'm a librarian after all. I bloody love books. When I was a kid, my nan got me loads of books. Books on cars, stars, bakes, how to make. I have them all in Dewey Decimal order, like I do at the library. So I know where everything should be. I'm so organised, I even assign different ringtones to my phone. Work, Wuthering Heights, Kate Bush. The hospital, Staying Alive, the Bee Gees. My mother, being tuned to Jaws. I love an order, a routine. I should be at work today. It's a Wednesday. I work at Central Library in John Frost Square, named after famous chartist John Frost. They've built a new shopping centre there called Friar's Walk, named after, I assume, some monk or friar, God knows. But I have to be here today, because today is the day. Today is marked on the calendar with stars all around it in a big red circle. It's planned down to the minute. I go downstairs and see my little one. Sometimes I just have to stop and gaze at her. I don't understand how the universe gave her to me. I made her. I love her. She's all golden hair and sleepy and absolutely covered in my makeup. My brand new red lipstick is all over her nose.
Imagine you wake up, you open your eyes, and you're like that, where am I? Small room, bright lights, white wall, metal door, oh my god. Imagine you wake up and you're in a jail cell. You go up to the door and you bang your fist, scream and shout, what am I doing here? And imagine a policeman comes up to the door and goes, keep it down. And you're like, oh no, what did I do? And he's like, you don't know. You shake your head, what? And imagine he just looks at you like you're a pure thug or something. Imagine he looks at you and goes, you're being charged with attempted murder. Oh nah, what did I do? And you start remembering everything right from the beginning.
What are you thinking? No, sorry, don't answer that. That's a stupid question. That's such a stupid. You can tell me, you can talk to me. I won't judge you, whatever it is, whatever I won't. Is it me? Not that I mean, it wouldn't matter if it weren't or were actually, so are you thinking about me? What good things fill up? I mean, is it negative? Are you thinking a negative thing about? I'm not that bothered. I'm not going to fill it, doesn't. Yeah, I don't care, you know I do. What, like I talk too much? Is that it? That I talk too much? You sitting there in absolute silence thinking, Leah talks too much, I wish you'd shut up once in a while, is that it? Is that why you're, because don't, judge? Because, alright, I do. There, I'm admitting it. I talk too much. So shoot me. So kill me, Phil. Call the police, lock me up, rip my teeth out with a pair of rusty pliers. I talk too much. What a crime, what a sin, what an absolute catastrophe, stupid, evil, ridiculous, because you're not perfect, actually, Phil.
There, I said it. You're not... You're a bit... You're...
Do I disgust you? I do. No, don't, because it's alright, it's fine. It's not like I'm gonna, it's not the collapse of my... I could walk out of it. There are friends I've got. I've got friends. I mean, I haven't got friends, not exactly I haven't, but I could have if I wanted, if I wanted. Given the perfect circumstances. So don't, because you haven't either, It's not like you're Mr. Popular. You haven't, but that's different, isn't it? I mean, it is. Don't say it isn't, because you'll just embarrass the both of us. It's different because it doesn't matter to you, does it? Sitting there all... What are you thinking?
Well, I met my husband in an airport, in a queue to board an EasyJet flight, and I have to say, I took an instant dislike to him. This was in Italy. I'd been travelling. Not with any real purpose or sense of see the world, but more because I didn't know what the hell I was going to do with my life. And I could not face another job that I hated back home. So I took last month's paycheck, the deposit I got back from my flat, got a brand spanking new credit card, and stuck a pin in a map, determined to go wherever it landed, be it Paris, New York, Dubai, Calcutta. I got South Blooming Hampton. A whole world to choose from, and I got Southampton. But I thought, fate follow fate. This could be the start of the rest of my life. Which is how I found myself in Southampton for 3 days. After which time, I thought, forget you, fate, and go on a train to Paris. Paris is a dump. I'm sorry, it is, and it's time we all started talking about that. I've been all over France, don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. But Paris, call that a world city. It's Leeds with wider streets. You see, I really was on the lookout for anyone. The travelling stage of my life had come hot on the heels of what I now refer to as my promiscuous stage.